In this video, I'm going to answer a very common question for LEGO investors. When should I sell my LEGO investments and which set should I choose to sell? I will use some examples to explain my strategy better. So let's get started. Hello everyone, I'm Kwang. Welcome to my channel. So this video could actually be pretty short since the answer can be explained in just a few sentences. The key point is the future growth potential of the LEGO set. You need to compare its potential growth to other investment you can get. If one set's growth potential is too low compared to the others, then it's a time to sell it. And it doesn't matter you are losing money, breaking even, or make a big profit already of this LEGO set. The only important fact is whether the set will achieve a reasonable return on investment in the coming months or in the next year. Now, let me explain my strategy by using this whiteboard behind me. So I call this is a time river. Here is our current assets. That's our current assets. It will grow over the time, like growing bigger and bigger through this time river. And our current assets right now here has two parts. The first one is the saving. The second one is our investment. And for the saving, I don't expect that it will grow like a 50% or even 80% year by year. That's not realistic. That would only be possible if my salary double every year, which isn't the case. So that is the reason why I focus on the investment growth here. That investment part of our current assets can realistically achieve like 50% or even higher return on investment every year. And to make the investment part grow bigger and more importantly faster, we need to remove those poor performing investment and to reinvestment that capital into a better investment. And then over the time, this approach will help the investment part being grow larger and more quickly. So we have to replace those bad investment with new investment pretty often. And how to define an investment, or in this case is a LEGO set, is a bad investment. It's not necessarily for those LEGO sets losing money right now. It could also be a LEGO set that already make a huge profit. Because the key point, just like I mentioned, is the future growth potential. So let me use the Jedi training this set as an example. My purchase price in 2023 was $50 and I was selling this set in middle of 2024 and I only made about $3 to $5 per set. And many people do not want this move because they don't want to see a loss, or maybe they don't want to see such a small return on investment. So they prefer hold it longer and even longer through the end of 2024. And however, that is not a good decision. Here's the reason why. For LEGO investment, I will need my capital at year end to buy new sets. And for new LEGO investment, my target average return on investment is about 50%. And different people might have a different return on investment target. Some people will have a 30% ROI, some people looking for double their money in the next year. For me, a realistic ROI will be 50%. And the fact is, as we all know, none of those diorama sets perform well after retirement. Only this one, the Jedi training, could make a few dollars after a year. The Jedi training definitely will not achieve another 50% ROI in the coming months or in the next year. And that is the reason why holding it past 2024 is not a very good decision. Because we could invest that money into new LEGO sets. Those LEGO sets will definitely have a higher return on investment. And currently this is my last copy, and right now I'm selling it, I could make like about $10 profit. That's only $5 compared to 1 year ago. So that's not even 10% ROI. And let me share two more examples. First is the Republic Gunship, set number 75309. My cost was around $300. It was on sale on lego.com for $280. So plus tax, that's about $300. And I sold it for $500 in mid of 2024. And after fees, I received a little over $400, and that's about a 35% ROI in just 6 months. And this example is a little different from my first example, the Jedi training, because for this one, if you are not buying for a price like a $45 or $50, you are losing money. But even you buying it at $50, you're still not making that much. And the second example, the Republic Gunship, we already have a large profit from it just 6 months after retirement. But still, I was selling both of these Lego sets in mid of 2024. So it's just like I said, it doesn't matter you're making a big money on it already or you're losing money. The only key point here is the future potential return on investment in the coming months or in the next year. And to compare that potential to the other investment you could get. So my average return on investment is about 50%. And for the Republic Gunship to achieve another 50% ROI again in the following months or in the next year, I will need another $200 profit. Because remember, at this point, my cost is no longer my original cost, which is $300. My cost actually became $400. That is how much money when I sell it in middle of 2025 that I can get. And we can also call it opportunity cost. So if I'm looking for another 50% ROI, my cost is $400 and another $200 make it be $600 I can get after deducting all the fees, which means the market value have to be almost $800, and that's not realistic. And that is the reason I was selling it in the middle of 2024. And here is an important note. For example, if you only have a couple copy of the Republic Gunship, you may not need to sell it in middle of 2024 if your cash flow is not tight, and you could wait until the end of 2024 because a few copies of the Republic Gunship is easy to be sold in every year's Q4. And I'm selling my copies earlier because I have other investment need capital from beginning of 2024. So I will need to sell those Lego sets with a lower growth in future values. And even if Lego is my only investment, and when I need a cash for expenses like a rent or car or insurance, I always trying to sell those Lego sets first, that with a lower potential future growth. Okay, so let me show you my last example. The Star Wars UCS Imperial Star Destroyer, set number 75252. My cost in 2023 was about $625. It was from Amazon, they have a big sale. And I sold it for $1,050 in middle of 2024. And after deducting all fees, I received about $950, and that is about 50% ROI in just 6 months. And again, if I wanted to hold it past 2024, I will need to see another 50% return on investment. That will be another extra $500 profit I have to make. To make that profit, the sales price for this Star Destroyer will be almost $1,800. And then deducting all the fees, I can get like about $1,500 back. So that is also not realistic. And that's all 3 examples I want to show in this video to explain how my strategy works. I use this approach because I want to make this part, the investment part, grow bigger and faster. To achieve this, I will need to get rid of those poor investments and replace them with new investment. And again, a poor investment at this point, when we consider which Lego set to sell, is not about losing money or make a huge return on investment already. The key point here is to estimate every Lego set's potential return on investment percentage for the coming months or year. And if that percentage falls below my target average, and my average will be a 50% ROI, so I will sell those Lego sets first. And I will keep those Lego sets with a higher future potential. And this is my strategy for deciding when to sell a Lego set and which set to sell for Lego investment. Lastly, I want to share some of my opinions about the cash flow. If you really want to make some money of Lego investment, I think it's important to monitor your cash flow very tight. For me, I'm checking them almost every 2 days because I don't have that much saving in my bank account. I want to use all my cash flow into investments. An investment is a part of our whole current asset that will grow faster and bigger over the time. And if we truly understand how our cash flow is, then we can have a better control of it. In that case, we will know how much money to spend in every year's Q4, like October, November, December. And sometimes we also need some capital to use in beginning of every year for Lego investment. So my friendly reminder is that to get a better control of our cash flow, as we will know how much you spend on our life expenses and how much we can spend on investments more clearly. And this will help the Lego investment overall. And that's it, my friend. Hope you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to subscribe and like this video, because that will really help me and this channel. Thank you. See you in the next one.